Want to welcome you to our LinkedIn Live today. And I hope if you are joining us, say hello on our LinkedIn page. And today I'm going to talk about how to craft your best fundraising appeal ever. Your best fundraising appeal letter. So if you just, I'm gonna do some intro for about a minute or two while people are just tuning in and logging on. So it's Gail Perry again. Appeal letters are maybe a pain in the butt. They are a challenge for everybody. And most people get them wrong. And there are a number of best practices that you can apply to make sure your appeal letters actually reach your donors' attention and open their heart and prod a gift. And there are also ways to screw up an appeal letter. So if you're just logging on, this is Gail Perry. I'm happy to chat with you today about my top tips for a killer appeal letter, one that opens your donors' hearts, prods a generous gift, increases your organization's awareness, and gets your case for support across. So let's see what time it is. It's 12:30. I'm going to do a little bit more introduction while I wait for people to log on. And let me just talk a little bit about the role of the appeal letter. Now, what I mean by appeal letter, it's either a digital appeal letter or it's a snail mail appeal letter. Hopefully it is enhanced by similar social media content that you're sending out at the same time. So we call this all direct marketing, which is a combination of both direct mail and digital. I want to start by talking about the decision-making process for appeal letters. I was once on a board, and somebody at this organization decided to save money by eliminating paper letters to our donors, snail mail. We're going to save money. We're so excited about that. And it is such a grave error. Do not ever neglect your paper letters. There is research upon research that says that a physical letter, I don't have one here. Let's see if I have one. I don't have one here in my desk. A physical letter sits on your donor's desk or sits in their stack of mail and it doesn't go away. You know, emails are a dime a dozen and they are not treated with the same attention or respect or seriousness as a snail mail letter will attract. So you have to have both, and you have to be vigorous about it and stand up to anybody who wants to try to save money by eliminating the snail mail. Now, if you remember, though, people also try to track the metrics, like how much money are we raising from paper letters versus how much are we raising from digital. Guess what? They merge. Your donor, especially today's donor in the 21st century, is going to receive your snail mail letter. They're going to start crying or they're going to be moved, and then they're going to go to your website to make the gift. They're not going to use the reply card vehicle that's in there. I think you're running a risk by ignoring the reply card, and there's a whole art to they call it the response device. And I'm not an expert, direct mail expert professional, but I have been working in this field for so long that I'm very comfortable sharing these tips about how to get the snail mail letter right. So let me talk a little bit about the snail mail. People ask me who should sign the letter. And I have gotten appeal letters from the wonderful but very lowly development assistant. That's the person who signs the letter. I've also gotten appeal letters from the chair of the board and the CEO or a prominent volunteer. Which letter do I treat more seriously? The one that's signed by the prominent volunteer whose name I've heard of or who may be a member of my community that I know, the former mayor, or some leader in our community, or the wonderful but lowly development assistant. And so I'm going to pay more attention to the signer of the other letter, the prominent person. So one of the rules for appeal letters is to make sure that the most powerful person you have signs the letter. There's a little bit of uncomfortableness about staff sending out these letters because underneath there's this undercurrent of whether staff are raising money for their own salaries. So I think you're far better off having a volunteer write the letter or sign the letter. But however, I have had volunteers and CEOs who agreed to sign letters and they said, this doesn't sound like me, I've got to rewrite it. And they rewrite it in the most awful fashion possible. So I'm going to give you another tip that is so important. And that is Maintain control over your letter, whatever you do. Do not let other people edit the letter. If you hire a professional copywriter, or if you are educated in how to do appeal letters, and you feel like this is the best job based on best practices and best and smart principles, if you give it to a committee, they're going to water it down like crazy. And I have a couple of stories. Okay, I can write a letter that can break your donor's heart. I can just sit right down and just blah, 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 because I've been at this so long. So for one of our clients, I wrote this letter. It's a warm-up letter for an appeal. And I was so proud of them because they're going to use the letter. And now I find out it's been 2 weeks and that letter is circulating around and they're working on it. And you know what's going to happen? That letter is going to be watered down. It's going to have no impact at all. Or no, it will have impact, but it's not going to have the impact that you would like for it to have. Have another story. I serve on a lot of boards. I'm crazy, I know. Um, I serve on a board. I will not name the organization, but I brought in Tom Ahern, who's a dear friend, a wonderful, wonderful direct mail expert. I have his books on my back shelf. And Tom Ahern offered to do an hour with I'm a member, I'm a board member, I'm not a consultant to this group, to review their web page, their donation page, their homepage, and their appeal letter. And he made a number of very powerful tweaks. We changed key things on the website, the call to action. We changed the donation page. We changed a lot of things. We added the word "you" all over the letter. And then, and we raised so much more money that year. But the next year, a new person came in and they thought it was their job to redo everything. And they couldn't understand why they raised less money. So the moral of the story is that expertise matters when you're creating these things. There, fundraising, especially direct response fundraising, is very heavily researched. I follow Next After, which is a very smart digital company out of Texas, Austin, Texas, I think. And they have tested maybe 2,000 points, A/B testing on what works in appeal letters. So I highly recommend them. So I have a little bit of a beef with people who take a professionally written letter and then screw it up. So I strongly advise you've got to set the parameters of who's making the decisions. Set those parameters ahead of time before you create your letter. And also, if you're in a large institution and you've got the marketing department who wants to control the letter, you're really in trouble, because the marketing department is all about how great the organization is. And we need more patients. We want students. We're just wonderful. You must come to us. But an appeal letter is all about how wonderful the donor is. You are so wonderful. You have supported us for so long. You believe in our work. You are a partner in this mission. You believe in all of these things that we believe in. It's you. And so marketing people who are not educated in fundraising methodology do not understand this, and they think it's awful because it's not getting the message across that they think you should give. So it's important to understand ahead of time who's going to approve the letter. And also, if you can identify ahead of time, what are the objectives of this letter and what are the principles and parameters that we're going to try to hit and nail with this letter. So when I tell marketing people just this simple distinction between the traditional marketing language and the you language that we use in donor-centered appeals, they go, oh, okay. So people are open to the ideas, but you've got to present it as a philosophy and a best practice before you're confronted by the letter and who wants to tweak it and make it different. I want to speak a little bit about the word "you." The one thing I did learn from Tom Ahern is that the more uses of the word "you" and "your" in the appeal letter, either digital or snail mail, is more powerful to the donor. And guess what? I'm reading a letter. If it says, "Hi, Gail, thank you, and you this and you that," I'm going, oh, it's about me. I'm going to read this letter. And so you draw the donor in by telling the donor how wonderful they are and how much you appreciate them and how grateful you are for their partnership. Remember, a lot of our appeal letters, both digital and snail mail, go to our current donors. And so you're just asking them to renew their support. It is an easy ask. an easy ask. So be sure you have, I would like to have the word you in the letter at least 10 times, preferably 15 or 16. And you can go through it with a pen and just circle how often you use you. And that also means that the letter is about the donor and your work and their support of your work, and not so much about your organization. I was working with a major hospital up in Connecticut a few years ago, and they showed me their appeal letter that they were going to send out. It was all about the hospital is so great. We've won these awards. We've got this doctor and this new thing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, let's part that. Let me try one. And so I just off the cuff wrote a letter. It wasn't perfect, but it was workable. I said, dear donor, when you or your family have a medical issue, where do you turn? You turn to your local community hospital. And I said something like, our physicians, our nurses, our staff, our dietitians, our janitors, and I named all these people, all are devoted to serving you and your family. So you can see that the tone of the letter is very different, a very different message. So I'll bless and release the you, and let me speak more about the idea of warming up your donors before you send your fall year-end campaign. Everybody works on a fall year-end campaign. Some people start in September or October. Some people do it in November, or unfortunately, I hope you're not doing it in December, a heavy mail campaign in December, because there's too much going on. You might miss your donors' attention. There's a fine line there, and I'm not an expert on exactly when you should send it out, but I do know that many organizations right now are working on their fall appeal. And so when somebody asks me, and one of our clients, we run a lot of capital campaigns around the country, and we're major gift consultants, and but our clients come to us for expertise in the direct marketing area, and since we have that expertise, we share, and that's why I'm talking about it with you today, because everybody needs help. Our clients need help. Our former clients need help, and it is a huge pain point. So we're a full service company to help our clients with whatever's keeping them up at night. So let me go back to the topic of warming up your donors. When somebody comes to me and say, oh, you look at our appeal letter, how are we doing? And the first thing I want to know is, when's the last time you communicated with these donors? Is it a somewhat cold list? Because there's some organizations who are embarrassed about fundraising and they are afraid to send out appeals and letters. I hope you are not one of those organizations, but sometimes people are holding back. And if your donor hadn't heard from you lately, the appeal letter is liable to fall flat, and they're not as going to be primed to respond. My favorite tip for launching your annual fund drive is a thankathon. Let's get everybody on the phone and let's just thank our donors. And 3 or 4 weeks later, we can send out another appeal, but they have been acknowledged. They have been acknowledged personally. They are feeling warm and fuzzy and good thoughts about this organization, and the organization's higher in their radar screen with so much going on that that donor is going to be more open to the level of support that you're asking. So we all suggest a series of touches to your donors in between appeals. And again, people are trying to save money. I was talking to one of our clients, and they decided to eliminate their donor newsletter because they don't have enough resources. And then they're going to expect that the annual fund and the direct marketing is going to perform higher than it did last year. What are the strategies that you have used with your donors in between appeals? So take a look at that. And if you haven't been in touch with their donors lately, send a thank you letter first, or a warm-up letter, and just say you're so wonderful. We can't thank you enough. And also, a couple of weeks ago, we put out an AI prompt for a thank you letter, because we have our list of best practices for thank you letters. And we created a prompt series for AI. You can just run it through any of your AI, maybe ChatGPT, and just fill in the blanks. And it's really fun to see what comes out, because AI generates this lovely thank you letter that says, oh, we are so thrilled to receive your support. And it goes on. And we usually don't do that personally. So get ready for Friday because our newsletter is going to also include an AI prompt series for a great appeal letter based on our best practice tips. Um, let's see, I think I might be up on time. And so I'm going to close out and I'm going to comment just one more comment I want to make before I close out. And that is that you need to look at all your fundraising expenses as investments that are supporting a revenue stream. These investments, yeah, you can cut costs there, but it's going to impact the revenue stream that you're getting back. So I was talking to some for-profit guy and he says, oh yeah, but this project is these resources are expensive, but it's supporting $10 million in revenue or $3 million in revenue. And so therefore he justified it just like that, just like that. So I know we all fight battles over investment in our fundraising everything, website, digital, professional help, consulting help, and just remind everybody of the carrot on the other side that this small investment is generating large amounts of revenue. I see we have a question. Let's see. Okay, here's somebody who's written in and they want to know, what do we report in a newsletter if our performing arts center is not yet built? Not yet built. Okay, so you have a dream. You have a goal. You have a project that's going to bring your whole community together in this wonderful performing arts center. You talk about when you send a donor newsletter or any newsletter, you say, hello, everybody. We're all so excited about this, the momentum we've gained in raising money for our new performing arts center. The ballet dancers are all lined up. The symphony is lined up. Our local theater is chomping at the bit. We know that this is going to be a wonderful asset to our community. It's going to enhance culture. That's the kind of stuff you talk about your case for support. And if you want to, if you're sending an appeal letter centered around the Performing Arts Center, remind the donor how much they love the arts and that they've been a partner in the arts and they believe in the arts. And let's create let's join together to create a lovely art center for our own community. So that would be my response. And so everybody, good luck on your year-end campaign. Good luck on fundraising. We are here for appeal letters. We are here for major gifts programs. We're building major gift programs for a number of organizations and of course, capital campaigns. We're running campaigns from 5 million to 350 million around the country, and we would love to help you too. Thanks so much for joining us.